so the relentless drive to advocate for equality, women's rights, pay equity, all of those things, transgender, gay, all of those things. In fact, one of the board members had asked that I had to remove sexual orientation from a diversity wheel that I had designed as the diversity leader. And I said, no, I'll quit first. I will not, well, not quit. I didn't really mean it, but I said it. But no, I will not remove it. So finally, they kept it on. And now, of course, Raytheon became one of the champions for gay rights. Are they still doing it? Okay. I left, so I don't know. So at any rate, I wanted to bring to your attention the journey. And then, how am I doing?
You're great.
Oh, okay. So I'm almost getting there. So why so many no's? And unfortunately, we're seeing a resurgence of no's. And so it becomes very important for us to be enlightened about some of the things that are contributing to these no's. And I know you know some of them. But at any rate, this social conditioning, I talk about, and I'm going to give you some example of conscious and explicit bias. When people just have an inherent dislike or distrust or whatever it is for a specific group and feel that they're threatened or whatever it is. So I mean, they make no bones about it. It's a conscious decision to discriminate against someone or be negative. And you see so much of it in today's environment. And then there's that unconscious and implicit bias. And by the way, we all have some of these. And so it's when you have some attitudes and stereotypes, and it's in your unconscious, and you make decisions and do things, and sometimes you're not even aware of it. And I'm going to give you some examples. And then there's just that institutional and systemic phobias, where people are just scared of anybody that's different. Or they think if you don't look like me, if you don't act like me, if you don't belong to the same religious group or something, there's something wrong with you. In other words, no respect for differences or the inability to accept differences. And then there are some unwritten cultural norms. I work with CEOs and other C-suite leaders, and they will tell me how, Daisy, I'm so committed to women and I'm so committed to having a diverse leadership team. And I'm like, but I'm looking at your org chart and something here doesn't match. So you're not as committed as you think you are. And then the self-preservation and fear. Somebody is going to get the best of me, or they're going to take a job that I should have gotten, or whatever reason that people will use. So let me give you an example. In 2007, I was TUCSON's Woman of the Year. What a great honor. Thank you. So I call this unconscious implicit bias. So they said each one of us would have a limousine pick us up. There were two guys, the Man of the Year, and at that year it was Steve Lynn. And then I think Tom Roof was the founder. At that time they called it the Founders of the Year. So my family flew in and everything. So I'm waiting on the limo. And this is the limo. And when it drove up in the yard, I'm like, is this thing going to even be able to make it downtown? I think it was maybe like a 1970, yeah. What you see it, right? About 1970. Yeah. And the thing, and the guy gets out, you know, all jubilant. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, I'm all sharp in my St. John suit and all of that, and I'm in this old limousine. And, you know, my sisters are looking kind of cross-eyed like, I thought you said you were somebody in Tucson. So we get to La Paloma, and all of us in our limos drive up at the same time. Look at what the guys rode up in. 2007 limos, and me in my 1957 with something. And to me, that was unconscious bias, because it was like, it's okay. The guys, they're gonna need the newer limo, but Daisy, the outdated one will be just fine for her. At least it's running. She'll get there. That's unconscious bias. What do you think about Starbucks? Was that unconscious bias? I thought it was some people are saying unconscious. I agree with you. I think it was pretty blatant. But I tell you what, when you have to shut down 8,000 stores, here is an example of what I call explicit bias, conscious bias. Black females, on average, make 63 cents to the white male dollar. Now, women overall, more so white women, make about 80 cents. But even that fluctuates. Sometimes it's around 75 cents. Black women in Louisiana, what do you think? 47 cents. DC, 52 cents. They didn't have a number for Arizona, so I'm like, whew. They only, I think it was 25 states they looked at, but Arizona wasn't one of them. I'm hopeful that we were around, 70? She's like, yeah, right. But if you think about the conscious bias, let me just give you another example. There was a young boy very recently, 14 years old. His dad's in the military serving in Syria. He misses his school bus. This just happened last week. Misses his school bus. And he walked 4 miles trying to get to a school, and he got lost. So he knocks on doors. And he gets to one house, and the lady was saying, why are you people coming here to rob me? The husband comes down with a shotgun, and the kid saw it, and he ran, and thank goodness, thank God, the safety was on, and he missed the child. But here's a kid just trying to and he said, I just want some directions. That is conscious bias, that you see someone and automatically think they're a thief. I remember in a hotel. Now here I am, I'm in my Navy suit, dragging my bag, got my briefcase, walking to my room. This couple comes out of their room, sees me, runs back in the room, and I could hear the door locking. And I'm like, gosh, I don't want anything from you, but they saw me as a threat. So that's why I'm on the battlefield against those kinds of no's. And guess what? I'm recruiting. And so I can tell you that I'm using my voice, talents, resources to advocate for justice, equality, but most of all for goodness. Because in the midst of all these things that have happened to me, I have experienced goodness. And I know what goodness feels like. And it's because of goodness that I kept on moving and moving forward, actively engaging in a political landscape of divisiveness, hatred, inequality, and injustice. How do we overcome those things? I'm coaching and teaching and mentoring executives on the business case and the moral basis for diversity and inclusion. You say you care about your workforce, you're not demonstrating it. Not only by the demographics of your workforce, but you're not even showing people that you care about them. Coaching and mentoring diverse young professionals and helping them be able to maintain hope and their aspirations that they can achieve things. Because a lot of them will tell me, oh, I want to be just like you. I want to do just what you've been doing. And I'm like, honey, you don't know. Walk a mile in my shoes. But I can tell a story and motivate them. Don't stop, keep going. And then reaching out to diverse groups and communicating. I believe in collaboration and building relationships. I am just thrilled to be here today, tonight, and to be able to converse with you all. And then staying on that battlefield. I'm an advocate for public education that's under attack. And it can't be that you just have to be a certain economic status in order to get a good education. That is not right in a democracy. So I will continue to fight for that. And the school to prison pipeline, when the police are being called on 7- and 8-year-olds, come on. Oh my goodness. And then the fight, the mass incarceration of men and women of color. There's a new effort underway to, because of the bail system in America, there are so many mothers, low-income mothers, who spend months in jail for a $200 bond that they can't post. Think of the impact on the family. So there's a move afoot where you can contribute to help women meet their bail so that they're not incarcerated and the family suffers. And so the advocacy through my voice, Within the Walls, is a novel, and it talks about some of the trials and tribulations, but it's a novel. It's not like, oh God, you're bad, you're whatever. You get your own aha from the story and the mass incarceration. And the advocacy. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Public Voices. So I was in the first cohort, a fellow, and I know Carmen was in one of the cohorts. And it was to increase the voice of women in the media. I think we were only, 35%, if that? I'm not sure what we've increased to now, but a lot more. So I think I had about 11 articles published on various topics. And then, work for me. Why is it important for me to conquer the no of inequality? It's because of these kids. I love kids. I will fight for kids. I will go on the battlefield. I will stay on the battlefield for kids. Black, white, Hispanic, kids. They need us now. The negative examples they're seeing, the impact of the environment on our kids. So when it comes to doing stuff for kids, some of these kids were a football team that I helped sponsor, and some of the people in this room. Some of these young boys had never been in a hotel, never been on an airplane, but they got to go to Florida to play in the national football. They lost, but they didn't even care. And then the ones, there's a group The lower right, I co-lead the youth ushers at my church. And so they had a swim party at my house. And so they were fun. Now you see those other ones at the top? To the left, upper left, that's my little gang there. They travel with me everywhere. And then my goddaughter in the middle there with the little blue dress. And then my little sweet Monet Daisy, my granddaughter. And then my grandson. But they are who I fight for. They and children like them. Oh, this way. Okay. Oh, well, what the heck? That's the last one. Okay, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think we're done. You ladies are awesome, and I hope I get invited back.